Now, I think it's very fair to say that when we examine all divisions over at the Walt Disney Company, Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm are the two ones in particular that are really falling into that vicious cycle of Bob Iger really overusing their concept of DEI, getting thrown into various TV shows, movies, / projects, etc., etc. Even though I will go as far to say that Lucasfilm gets it far worse now than Marvel Studios when it comes to announcing projects and canceling projects. That's one big criticism that I have always had about Lucasfilm. But focusing here on Marvel Studios, we know that Deadpool 3 is the one movie that Bob Iger and the rest over at Disney are really latching on to at least becoming a decent success at the box office, and to really kind of point the finger at 2024 once we enter next year, so that they could say that they had one successful MCU film in 2024. That's what they're really aiming for. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, after the recent announcement of female Silver Surfer coming into the equation for Fantastic Four 2025, portrayed by actress Julia Garner, I don't know if you guys knew about this, but that's what they're doubling down on right now. They don't want to make her Shala Bal. They don't want to make her the romantic interest of Silver Surfer himself. They literally want to go all out and make her the actual gender-swapped version of Silver Surfer alone in isolation within Fantastic Four. Now, focusing on what Bob Iger has been talking about the past number of days, he's been getting very defensive about the concepts of gender swapping and race swapping in their movies and television shows, and it's not going to stop there. But thankfully, Ryan Reynolds has really been gaining a lot of victories over losses when it comes to the MCU. Let's get into all of this, shall we? Now, specifically on top of all of that, with both Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm considered, of course, the two worst divisions at the Disney Company that's doubling down on their usage of DEI right now, one major development has to do with Ryan Reynolds and his current battle against the Walt Disney Company, and how it surprisingly now also is connected to the gender-swapped version of Silver Surfer that Ryan recently took action against. One shocking turn of events that recently occurred is that Ryan and the creatives behind Deadpool 3 recently handed out multiple ultimatums against Disney and the looming reshoots that are set to begin by the end of this month into late May, that were planned out by Disney to include specific, of course, cameos of the new Fantastic Four film. One of the characters specifically that was going to make a major appearance was the female Silver Surfer toward the end of the third act of Deadpool 3 that was planned, by the way, by both Bob Iger and Kevin Fiege to be shoehorned into the plot to promote the characters for Fantastic Four, but to also promote the film in its entirety in the third Deadpool movie. Not only did Julia Garner recently sign on to do voiceover work for Deadpool 3's reshoots to play female Silver Surfer, but also Kevin Feige ordered Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick to use some improvised dialogue, what was best described as cringeworthy dialogue that focused on Disney's usage of DEI and equality with that character in particular, where she would engage in a fight as well, with Deadpool and best him as well in a fight when sending a message about Galactus. Reynolds recently went over the plans for the scene and raised hell against Disney, since he does not want the subpar writing and dialogue to be used in the third act, nor does he want his film to become one massive advertisement for Marvel characters to arrive in 2025. This is when another ultimatum was given out by Ryan, that he was willing and wanting to drop out of reshoots without fear of the consequences by Disney. This reportedly put both Bob Iger and Kevin Feige on edge, to the point that they cancelled and axed the female Silver Surfer scene completely from Deadpool and Wolverine. The scene was also going to focus on female Silver Surfer, giving out her backstory. Disney decided to cancel the scene only after Shawn Levy and the writers of Deadpool 3 began to side and stand up with Ryan Reynolds. However, the battle is actually stretching beyond Deadpool 3, as Ryan is also already demanding that they change the nature of the female Silver Surfer, and that Reynolds is demanding Iger and Feige to turn her into the Silver Surfer's romantic interest, also known as Shala Bal. This is something that Ryan and Shawn Levy are fighting for right now, as they don't want to witness the MCU getting hit with, of course, more box office failures for 2025, and are desperately demanding Disney to change their plans with female Silver Surfer, or they are willing to also drop out of involvement from other MCU projects. As of now, Julia Garner's role of Silver Surfer in the third act of reshoots for Deadpool are no more and will not be moving forward, and she reportedly has no problem with that at all. Reynolds is already demanding immediate script changes to Fantastic Four 2025 before they begin filming in the next couple of months. Now guys, let me just stop here before I move on. I think that Reynolds is 100% right here of pushing the concept of making her into Shala Bal. If they did that, I would have no problem. I really would have no problem with Julia Garner playing that version of Silver Surfer as the romantic interest of Nora Drad. Now, interestingly enough, they don't want to do that. Alright, Bob Iger doesn't want to make changes to Fantastic Four, but he was willing to axe and cancel the scene of female Silver Surfer from Deadpool 3. Now, whether or not that's connected to the Fantastic car showing up in the third Deadpool film, who knows? But we know one thing about this, is that they were on a train of shoehorning in MCU characters into Deadpool 3. This is why Captain Marvel recently got axed, why She-Hulk recently got axed, because of all the ultimatums that Ryan and crew were handing out against Kevin Feige and Bob Iger. That's why I keep saying that they are gaining more victories than losses at this point, and Ryan could very well be the savior of the MCU. It's quite ironic that he refers to himself as Marvel Jesus in Deadpool 3's trailer back in February. Moving on. Now, however, as of now, both Iger and Feige still remain stubborn on changing the nature of the Silver Surfer back to a male and or becoming Shala Bal in Fantastic Four instead, something Ryan and Sean are pushing to make happen in that film, as they do want some form of involvement in Fantastic Four 2025. Now, we already know that there were initial plans to put Deadpool as a cameo in Fantastic Four that Ryan recently dropped out of as one of the ultimatums. This is why Disney's beginning to cave to a lot of their demands, because they know specific individuals, whether it's actors or creators, are their key to success and to making popular products. But at the end of the day, you're just going into self-sabotage when you push your DEI agenda, and it's not going to work in the long run at all. So that's why I think that Ryan's moves are a necessary action. That's why I think Sean Levy's moves are a necessary action. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Sean Levy was offered a Star Wars project, and it is still in development. Whether or not Disney's going to interfere, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that they will, and it's going to lead to more complications with Sean. So overall, guys, I would love to hear what you all have to say about the ongoing scenario between Deadpool 3, the whole Fantastic Four situation, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.